I will never vote for Biden.
I will not be voting for Biden for sure, and no one will be voting for Biden that I know of.
A handful of swing states will determine who gets elected president. Michigan is make or break for Biden. He's in too much trouble in the others. In 2016, Trump won Michigan by 10,000 votes. In 2020, Biden won it decisively by 154,000 votes. Can he do it again? The answer to that fateful question may lie in one particular community. Michigan has more than 200,000 registered voters who are Muslim. That's more than enough to swing the state.
Dearborn, Michigan is the epicenter of Arab America.
In the summertime, you drive down Warren and you smell the shawarma and the coffee that comes from back home.
It truly is an enclave.
This enclave may pick America's next president. In other words, age isn't Biden's only problem.
As long as Biden continues to send weapons to Israel, I can't cast a vote for him.
If I were to sign the ballot for Joe Biden, the ink that I would use to sign that ballot would be through blood.
Thousands of children who are being murdered. 1, 2, 3. You want me to count? You want me to tell you their names? You want me to mention their crimes? The 1-year-old, what crime did they commit?
Listen, Trump is a racist, a con man, a fraud, an idiot, but he might be the sharpest tool to beat Joe Biden.
If the election is that close and it's a deadweight tie, I'm going to break that tie and I'm going to vote for Trump to ensure Biden is held to account.
No American should vote for any president who supported a genocide.
As we speak right now, we know that there is American bombs that me and you have paid for that is dropping on children in Gaza.
The United States is not some third party to this. The United States is actively funding this.
Imagine you are paying to murder your own family.
Donald Trump did not do that. Joe Biden did that. Actual genocide is worse to me than hypothetical genocide.
I don't know what Trump would do under these circumstances. I know that Democrats would speak out against it if Trump were doing it.
A second Trump's presidency would have scared me before the Gaza genocide. But after Gaza genocide, our worst nightmare has taken place.
I'd rather see my community banned than see them slaughtered.
I stood proudly with our friend. The state of Israel will always stand with Israel. Proud to be the greatest friend Israel has ever had.
People say, but he said this, but he said that.
As far as Israel, you should let him go and let him finish the job.
Well, Biden is already doing it.
We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them.
Nothing that you can bring me about Donald Trump will ever push me to say that I believe he's a worse threat than Joe Biden. He is the one that put democracy at risk.
Brothers and sisters, I've been crying for Gaza for the last 8-9 months, but I feel I have to cry for America as well. We need presidents who stand for peace, stand for justice. President that stops supporting ethnic cleansing. We pray for a better future for our country.
The political process is a long-term strategy.
If he wins, no one will ever listen to us ever again. If he loses, we'll probably have more political power than we've ever had before.
The goal is not 2024, the goal is 2028 and beyond.
And so, yeah, we might have to swallow the bitter pill of Trump becoming president.
I hope the Democratic Party will wake up. If they still think that they're a party of decency, they still have a chance to present a better candidate than Biden.
I'm very doubtful that Biden will be removed from the ticket. I'll believe it when I see it, and then at that point, I might consider voting for the Democratic nominee.
I would love for me to be posed with a dilemma of, wow, Biden called for an arms embargo. Biden is having conversation on how to rebuild Gaza. Do I want to maybe risk losing all this progress we had and put Trump in office? I would love for that dilemma to happen, but it's not.
It is your responsibility. Your vote is translating into bullets. So you cannot ignore that.
I haven't changed my policies, my views, free healthcare, student debt elimination. All of those things are still things that I love and value and want to see put into place. My conscience is telling me that genocide outweighs every single domestic policy. So I'm voting my conscience. in November.
So this was the video posted by New York Times. Very beautiful storytelling and very well put together. The community members did a great job in representing the issue. What I wanted to share with you is some of us at least, I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone who participated, but some of us at least were more proactive. So the story focused on what we are not voting, who we are not voting for. It focused on not voting for Biden. And it seemed a little bit that we have a passive agenda. We just are going not to vote because of as a reaction to the war in Gaza. And it doesn't seem that we have a proactive agenda. While some of us, at least in the video, have in the actual interview, have emphasized over and over again that we actually will be standing with a candidate and a party that is sharing our values and that have stood against the genocide in Gaza, which is the most important topic and the most important criteria for this next election. Actually, it should be the highest criteria for any society all over Earth in any subject, because there's a genocide taking place for the last 9 months, and there should not be anything above that on the agenda of any organization that has any kind of a human values around the world. So imagine we are in the middle of a place that determines the outcome for the elections of the most powerful country in the world, that is a partner in genocide and is supplying weapons and logistics and intelligence, full diplomatic cover for the genocide that is taking place. So we were proactive, and we talked about voting for the Green Party, and we talked about voting for Dr. Jill Stein. And I mentioned her, at least in my interview, several times. I know Amir Zahar also mentioned her, and I know Dr. Nidal also would have mentioned her, among others. That's something that was cut off totally from the interview. I understand that the interview is focused on the agenda for the topic of Biden losing Michigan, but I think it is a very important context that there is another candidate that is providing an alternative to us, and I hope that the community is very well aware of that candidate and is also aware that there is intentional effort, just like this effort, to hide any information or mention of such a candidate. That is Dr. Jill Stein. Dr. Jill Stein has stood, as the Green Party did, with Palestine from day one, and they continue to do so. That's among all the other issues and values that they stand up for very eloquently and very genuinely, whether it is the rejection of corporate money, rejection of political interest groups, rejection of super PACs, rejection of military complex, etc. So I want to share with you Dr. Jill Stein to end with this interjection, and thank you for listening to me. I'm not sure if you can hear. Let me make sure that I'm sharing audio.
Leg amputations without anesthesia. If you've had enough of watching starving babies, if you've had enough of 1,000 children undergoing leg amputations without anesthesia, if you've had enough of destruction of hospitals and the targeting of healthcare workers and patients systematically by Israel, enough destruction of schools, enough destruction of homes, 60% of homes. Basically, Israel is defining all of Gaza as Hamas. All of Gaza is the enemy. Hamas is just the excuse for extinction level war on a people. This is outrageous. If you've had enough, I urge you to help us make the demand Frederick Douglass talked about, that power concedes nothing without. We are the one campaign that is on track to be on the ballot across the country that will end genocide, that will respond to the climate emergency, that will end crushing inequality, that will be a pro-worker campaign. We are the one such campaign on track right now to be on the ballot across the country. What we need in the next 3 months, starting right now, because it's crunch time on ballot access, 3 states, Indiana, Illinois, and New York especially, 3 states where they are trying to blockade access to our democratic process. They're trying to do that in all states. You probably know about the DNC's hiring an army of lawyers to try to stop independent candidates. That means they're trying to stop their competition, especially their competition for the progressive vote, especially the competition for the anti-genocide vote. They are quaking in their boots about the resistance, which is growing by leaps and bounds. They're terrified of that. You know how much it's going to cost Bobby Kennedy's campaign? They're trying to raise $18 million. It will cost us about $1.5 million because we are a grassroots campaign that is powered largely by volunteers and small donors and everyday people like you. So we're a distributed grassroots network. We can do this in a way that the big corporate candidates, the pro-genocide candidates, cannot. And we have to stand up and stand together and do it now if we are going to be full bore challenging empire. And that means on the ballot in every state. So what we need specifically is about 100 people to maximum level contribution. If there are people out there who can do that, we badly need your support now. This is nothing compared to what the candidates of War on Wall Street do. We can do just a small fraction of that and stop them in their tracks. The other way we can do this is just by us everyday people, 30,000 contributions at the $12 level. Are there 30,000 people out there that can contribute $12 this month? That also would get us to where we need to go. So if we all stand up and stand together and recognize what an absolutely critical moment this is right now to stop this genocide, we can do that, because it's not just Gaza. The torture and murder of children on a mass scale is being normalized right now. Joe Biden could stop that with a phone call. They also have the 6th Fleet sitting there off the coast of Gaza. They could also put up a no-fly zone and stop the missiles from flying. They could set up an embargo to prevent weapons from coming into Israel. We can shut down the weapons that are being funded at our taxpayer expense on our consciences. We must challenge power, and we must take that power and throw out these war criminals who are in the business of running our government and running our world. Enough of that. We need an America and a world that works for all of us. We know how to do this. We know what works. They want us to feel powerless and hopeless, but simply by recognizing the power that we do have, we are the majority. We are a supermajority that wants to bring this outrageous genocide to an end right now. We can do that by standing up and ensuring that we are going to be on the ballot to be a full launch to empire at a time it has never been so urgently needed, and a time that has never been so extremely possible. This is within our reach if we stand up and stand together. You can go to jillstein2024.com and make a contribution there. You can also volunteer to help with these ballot drives. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much.